Welcome to another Rolled in Reacts episode. The owner of this Nissan Sentra came in saying that they hit a large piece of wood on the highway, then got their own private light show in the dash before the car just shut itself off. Customerstates had it sitting at 7,000 RPMs for a while because I wanted to max it out on the highway, but then I heard a loud clunk and the engine shut itself off. The owner of this truck came in because their electric parking brake had blown up after they accidentally engaged it while going 88 miles an hour. Customerstates installed new brake pads, but car still squeaks when I brake. This truck came in for a regular safety inspection and the owner said, "I've been keeping it in a heated garage since new. How's this possible?" This customer had done some electrical work on their car, but had to come in because it wouldn't start. This customer had just purchased this truck at a local auction for $8,800 and came in to make sure it looked alright underneath. This customer had installed some new sport brakes together with a friend, but said that now the brake pedal just goes to the floor. Turns out that they installed the calipers the wrong way. The owner of this truck came in saying that they were in a rush to get home from work 2 days ago and think they hit a rabbit. Must have been B-rabbit. The owner of this poor truck came in for an oil change, but the mechanics discovered that it needed a whole lot more work than just that. And this customer had apparently hit something while driving on the highway that caused the tire to pop. Looks good. The owner of this truck had some differential work done at another shop, but had to come in because the shop apparently went a bit overboard with the differential oil. And this early 2000s Nissan Frontier came in after it wouldn't start. Apparently, the owner didn't know that you're supposed to change the timing belt ever so often. Thankfully, he had some good insurance to cover the costs. And this customer said that their tires were barely broken in. This customer had installed a light bar by themselves, but had to come in because they now have a battery issue. The owner of this car had troubles opening the hood after an oil change at a different shop. And the owner of this truck said, "I thought it would go faster if I had to." The owner of this car came in saying that they always do regular maintenance work on their car once every year or so, but had to come in because their brakes had just stopped working. This customer came in saying that their car has started to handle like a 95-year-old carrying a washing machine down a couple of stairs. And this car apparently makes its very own fresh orange juice caramel latte. This customer was driving in the middle of nowhere when their alternator mount broke off. Thankfully, they had some tire wraps lying around and did a little quick fix just to get home. This truck didn't have any rear brakes after the owner had it in for some brake work at a different shop, and they apparently just skipped reinstalling the calipers. This car came in for a fuel leak, and the mechanic discovered it was because an adjustable wrench had decided to take a little vacation. Customer states, "My window is acting a bit strange." Yep, looks great. Customer states, "My dipstick tends to get way too excited. Please advise." This customer came in saying that they've been getting this weird sound for a while and wanted it checked out. Turns out that the customer's friends had pranked him while he was away on holiday. And this car came equipped with a not so common 3-wheel drive option. This Chrysler 200 rolled in because the owner complained about it idling really rough after they had changed the throttle body at another shop the week before. And this customer said, "I don't know what happened. I was just driving downhill for a while and didn't want to go over the speed limit." Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And I think I found the reason why some people drive like they don't have a license. And out of all things, this guy had decided to save on the paint job for his front spoiler. And this customer hadn't changed their oil in quite a while. This customer's car came in with a pretty bad oil leak after the customer apparently hit a smaller Jersey barrier on their way to work, which also rearranged a large part of the car's undercarriage. This customer came in complaining about a noisy wheel. Customer states, "Son borrowed car for the weekend and now it won't move. Please advise."
Holy.
And this customer had tried lowering their car all by themselves. This guy came in with his car because it had a terrible clunking noise after his nephew had done some suspension work for him for free. And this customer came in complaining about poor airflow from their AC. And this customer had installed an LED light strip all by himself using staples. Customer states, did an oil change themselves, but didn't want to put too much oil in it in case it would be bad for the engine. And this mobile mechanic was called in after the customer had tried to change a flat tire by themselves.
Do you know the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man?
And this car came in for an oil change, but the customer didn't mention anything to the mechanic about the state of his tires. Luckily, the customer agreed to installing new ones. Customer states, starting issues. This car was in for an oil change when the mechanics discovered this. The owner of this Holden Commodore had replaced the timing chain together with his best friend, who supposedly knew everything about cars, but had to come in because the car doesn't start anymore. This customer came in with their Nissan because of a leaking transmission. Apparently, the customer had hit some concrete debris on the freeway a few weeks prior and their friend had fixed it for them for cheap, but the transmission had kept leaking. Yikes. And this customer came in saying, "My truck has been feeling bumpier lately. Can you check it out?" Original. This customer came in saying, "My son borrowed the car for a few days, but now it sounds like one of them old boat engines." Customer came in saying that their car sounds like it's chewing rocks, ever since they had their uncle do some work on their cooling system the week before. The owner of this car apparently likes his engine oil well done. Customer states, "Need a bigger ashtray." And this customer had replaced the wheel bearings by himself and came in to make sure everything looked alright. This car came in after the owner complained about poor acceleration and a whining noise coming from the engine. The owner of this car had installed a lowering kit by himself, but it turns out that he might have dropped it a bit too low. This customer came in because their engine had started to run a bit rough, but that they follow the maintenance intervals stated in their owner's manual to a T. And this customer drove into the shop like this and complained about a steering wheel vibration. Customer states, car sounds like a tractor. Customer states, hit a pothole and now my brakes barely work. Please advise. That doesn't seem right. The owner of this truck came in after they had been towing a motorboat behind them when they all of a sudden heard a loud clunk and lost almost all power. Looks good. And the last time this car was in for an oil change was 30,000 miles ago. Customer states, installed a new air filter myself, but car now feels a bit sluggish. This BMW X1 came in with a leaking differential after the customer's father-in-law had jacked it up to fix a leaking tire. And this truck had some of the best knock-knock jokes the mechanics had ever heard. And this car got a little excited after just having had an oil change. Customer states, I think I have a homeless person living underneath my car because they keep knocking whenever the car is moving, but not otherwise. The owner of this Mercedes came in saying that it sounds like an electric drill when accelerating. Something's not right. And this car came in with a bit of an oil leak. Customer states, it's gotten harder to put it in gear. Please advise. And this customer came in for an oil change and asked the mechanic if they served latte in the waiting room. The mechanic replied, no, but your car does. Looks good. And the owner of this car had installed some new rims by themselves, but had to come in because of a metallic scraping sound. And this car came in because the brakes didn't always work, after the owner's grandson had installed new calipers for them the month before. And this customer came in saying, my grandma borrowed my car for a while, but now I can barely get it into gear anymore. Please advise. Customer states, car has issues starting.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man.
And this customer had done their own tire rotation, but had to come in because the car had started to feel a bit wobbly when driving. And this customer came in because they think their engine sounds too much like a truck. And this is how to make a Kia twice as valuable. The owner of this car said that they hit some smaller road debris on their way to work and came in to have it checked out. And the owner of this car had done a nice little tire repair fix by himself, but had to come in because it didn't help much. Nah, it's got a few more miles on it, no problem. Customer came in saying that they brushed against a curbside when trying to avoid hitting a mouse that was running across the road. And this customer came in with starting issues after their nephew, who's apparently a great electrician, had done some electrical work on their car. This car came in with a clunking noise after the customer had lifted the car in their very own creative way. And the owner of this truck said that they've started getting a strange sound from the back after doing some off-roading. Customer states, horrible grinding sounds at all speeds. Please check and advise. Easy peasy. And this Toyota Tacoma came in with a bit of a coolant leak after the customer heard a loud bang while driving on the highway. This car came in because it was really hard to steer after the owner had driven through a village in the mountains on a dirt road. The owner of this old Volkswagen hippie bus had just bought it at an auction because they wanted to convert it into a camper van, and came into the shop to make sure everything looked alright underneath. Customer came in on a tow truck saying that they had raced their best friend at a stoplight but had heard a loud pop from the engine and then it suddenly stopped. This car got towed in because it wouldn't start, and the customer said, "Was in the left lane driving home from work when I suddenly heard this loud pop and the car just shut off on me." And the owner of this Volkswagen rolled in saying, "No matter how much power steering fluid I put in this thing, it's never enough. Also, it's been overheating lately and I have no clue why." Turned out that the customer had topped up the coolant tank instead of the power steering tank and that they had a pretty bad coolant leak as a result. Uh-oh, this Chevy Silverado 2500 came in with a pretty decent fuel leak after the customer had hit a piece of wood on the highway. And when your car starts sounding like this, it's probably best to get a new one. The owner of this car came in saying that they have always done their oil changes at the same quick lube shop, but ever since the last one, their car had started to run unevenly and came in to have it looked at. And the owner of this car had done his own oil change, but had forgot the new oil filter and just installed a new O-ring on the oil filter cartridge instead, and now has an engine knock. This customer rolled in because they had lost all power steering and their AC had started to blow warm when they were driving back home from work. This customer came in complaining about a clunking noise when turning after they had some suspension work done at another shop. Customer states, "My buddy did some work on my van, but I think he must have missed something." Customer states, "Steering wheel vibration when driving on the highway. Please advise." This car came in with a pretty decent coolant leak after the customer had tried fixing it themselves. Customer states, "Did 120 on the highway the other day when they heard a loud clunk followed by a rattling sound. Wants to make sure it's nothing serious." Turned out that the customer needed a new engine, which was fortunately covered by his insurance company. And this wheel bearing had started to work extra as a wheel of fortune. When you just had a fight with your girlfriend, but everything reminds you of her. This guy had installed a custom sport exhaust on his Volkswagen by himself, but now had a pretty bad fuel leak. This car rolled in because the owner said that it's gotten harder to stop and that the brake pedal feels mushy. This customer had their truck in for an inspection 3 weeks prior and said, "Don't worry about it, my buddy's a great welder." Turns out that the weld wasn't welding. This car came in for a pre-purchase inspection and thank God for that. Let's play a little game. Can you guess which of these tube seals are broken? Customer states, "My car keeps making these farting sounds when I accelerate and the floor mats get warm after a while." And this customer came in complaining about a clunking noise after they had some suspension work done at a local quick fix repair shop. Customer states, "Loud whining noise when driving, please advise." And this customer came in with starting issues after they had installed new spark plugs and new intake gaskets at a different shop. Turns out that the other shop had missed tightening the intake manifold and installed one of the gaskets in a pretty interesting way. Customer states, "Clunking sounds when going over bumps, please advise." Looks great. This Kia rolled in because it kept blowing fuses whenever the customer turned on the radio. The mechanic discovered that the customer had been grocery shopping a few weeks before, and a pumpkin had parked itself right on top of the speaker amp and started to rot, which had then shorted the amp and blown the fuses. Customer came in saying that they always do their own maintenance and do it on time, but had to come in because they now had trouble stopping their car. And this car apparently has its very own built-in light show. If you know what might be causing this, let us know in the comments below. This Ford Focus came in on a tow truck after the owner had put a new transmission in it a few nights before, but had somehow dropped a bolt in there which had caused quite the mess. Uh-oh. And this customer came in complaining about a burnt smell and occasional starting issues after they installed a new battery at a different shop. Yummy. This car came in with a pretty bad fuel leak after the owner had installed a new aftermarket exhaust system by themselves. The owner of this car had changed their oil 3 weeks ago at a quick lube shop, but had to come in because the engine had started making strange sounds. Customer states, "What do you mean I need new shocks? Are you trying to screw me over?" This car came in with a blown up transmission after the owner had towed it behind their RV but accidentally left it in first gear. Customer states, "Every time I go faster than 40 miles an hour, I get these really bad clunks." The owner of this car came in saying that their steering wheel has started to wobble and wanted it checked out. And the owner of this truck said that they might have a coolant leak because they constantly have to top it up with more coolant. This vehicle came in after the owner had tried racing their buddy at a stoplight and apparently heard a loud metallic pop right after he floored it. Customer states, "Growling noises when driving on the highway." Customer states, "My car leaks more coolant than normal. Please advise." Customer came in saying that their car has been feeling more like a canoe than a car lately and wanted it checked out. This customer came in saying, "What do you mean I need new tires? I only got these a couple years ago and they're practically as good as new." The owner of this car came in complaining about a grinding noise when driving, and this is what the mechanic found. And this customer had just had some suspension work done at another shop. And this car came in with a bit of a leak. Customer states, "Engine sounds like a video game." This Mazda rolled in because the customer said it was really hard to get in gear after their friend had installed a new clutch for them 2 months ago. Customer states, "Hit something on the highway and ever since my battery light is on. Please advise." The mechanic found that it was a long bolt that had went straight through the undercarriage and almost split a battery cable in half. The owner of this car had their boyfriend install a new battery for them, but the car now had intermittent starting issues. Choo choo, all aboard! And this car apparently makes its very own caramel latte. Customer states, starting issues. This customer came in asking if their RPM gauge is supposed to be this stiff. The owner of this car said that they followed the car's yearly maintenance plan since they bought it new, but for some reason the car just shut itself off the other day. Customer came in complaining about their car sounding hella bad and running a lot rougher than normal. And this customer came in saying, "I usually do all my own work, but I just can't figure out why my car keeps overheating. Can you check it out?" Uh-oh. The owner of this Mercedes came in complaining about their 12-volt outlet not working and wanted it checked out. This truck came in for an oil change when the mechanic noticed a beautiful custom paint job under the hood. This Kia came in because the owner said it had started knocking a lot lately, despite changing the oil regularly. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching, and until next time.